Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people for your Tuesday, November the 28th. Starting off with a fine has been handed out by Department of Player Safety. MacEwen fined for unsportsmanlike conduct. I guess that's the worst they could find from last night's schmozzle between the Sens and the Panthers. Really rough game there last night. I don't know if I've seen that many players booted out of a game before, like, and not since the 80s. The 80s, sure, but since bench clearing brawls were taken away from the game, I don't know that I've seen that many thrown out on both teams. Maybe one team, but both. It's a lot. Anyways, yeah. So MacEwen's been fined. It's not very much money. So no, I didn't even put it on the board because the maximum allowable. Yada yada yada. You guys know the whole spiel. The New Jersey Devils are reportedly still looking for a goaltender. GM Tom Fitzgerald reportedly, ramping up his search for a goaltender. It is interesting because there are a few teams carrying 3 goaltenders, so that's one thing that, they can ask around and see if Jake Allen might be available. They can ask the Wings which goaltender they might not be as attached to, and why it's Ville Husso at this point because of Lions play, and Reimer's been pretty good, right? But John Gibson's the name that got mentioned in the article I was reading on this, where I thought, Gibson, with the way the Ducks have fallen off over the last couple of weeks, maybe Gibson would be okay with a move to New Jersey. And honestly, if they can find a way to make it work, it might have to be some dollars going out because Gibson's cap hits, I think it's $6.4 million. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Devils are able to do there and who they're able to bring in. Adam Fox is expected to be activated tomorrow. This according to Elliot Friedman, and others are reporting this too. And it looks like Hedl and Kakko are headed to LTIR. Hedl's not that injured that they need to necessarily put him on LTIR, but for the salary cap being what the salary cap is. And for Kakko last night, it was a scary looking injury. And while it's long-term injured reserve, so he'll miss a minimum of 10 games, it's seen that it's not season ending. So the fact that he'll be back before the end of the season is seen as a good thing, but it's the last thing you need if you're Kaapo Kakko. He has had a slow start to the season offensively, and this just it's another kick to the poor kid. So hopefully he's back sooner than later and able to play and take that next step. So Patrick Kane is a member of the Detroit Red Wings, even though Detroit hasn't fully I haven't seen on Detroit's media that they've acknowledged this. But yeah, it's out there. It's 1 year. The cap hit's $2.75 million. It's prorated, meaning the actual money he's going to get is going to be a little over $2 million because, of course, he's signing about a quarter of the way into the season. I don't know what Patrick Kane's going to bring to Detroit's lineup other than the experience. I think at this point in time, expecting him to play maybe third line, it's like I do worry about people expecting too much and looking at this and going, well, this makes them a contender. Because I know there will be somebody somewhere who says that. The Patrick Kane they're getting now is coming off of hip surgery, and I have no reason to think that he's not going to come back with that same vim and vigor that we saw Backstrom coming back with for the Caps about a year ago. But it's not easy. And so we'll see how things go for Kane in Detroit. There's no risk for Detroit with this contract. It's just the 1 year. And it does mean that all the speculation about all the other places is over. I am mildly surprised he didn't end up in Florida. That does seem to be the place where a lot of veteran players end up. But yeah, so he signed with the Detroit Red Wings. We'll see how long it is before he makes his debut with the team. If they need to do any load management with his games or anything, we'll see what happens there. But Kane is now a member of the Detroit Red Wings. That speculation is done for another year. The Toronto Maple Leafs yesterday, Brad Treliving giving a little bit of a presser and saying that, yes, the team is looking for help on the blue line. He is working the phones, trying to make a deal. Also talking about Klingberg's injury and saying he hurt his hip against Florida on October 19th. So he was actually hurting for some of those games where Leaf fans were not very complimentary of Klingberg's play, which doesn't mean he was playing well. It just means that he was injured while he was playing, which is something that players will do. And I do wish teams were a little bit more a little bit more proactive when it comes to figuring out who's injured and who probably shouldn't be out there. The reason I say that is because if you're playing while you're injured, you can make that injury worse. So maybe if you come out of the lineup when you're first feeling that injury, maybe you miss a couple of weeks. But if you keep playing through it, maybe you need a couple of months, that kind of thing. But anyways, we'll see what the Toronto Maple Leafs do, and whenever they do that, I'll be here to report on it at that time. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And yes, kudos to the Detroit Red Wings for winning the fight for Patrick Kane. And now we'll see what that prize does for them and what happens and how things change from here, which line he slots in on, all that other fun stuff. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.